Hello, mathematicians. Today we're going to be learning about slope-intercept form. So we know that slope-intercept form is written as y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, which is rise over run, and we also know the slope as our rate of change. And b is our y-intercept, so b represents where the line crosses the y-axis, and we also know it as our initial value. So here we have an example. A gym plan charges $120 to become a member and $10 per month. So we know that the $120 to become a member is our initial value. And we also know that to be our y-intercept. And our $10 per month is our rate of change, and we also know that as our slope. So here we have our slope and our y-intercept, and to write it in slope-intercept form, we have to start off with y equals. Y represents the cost, and y equals 10, because 10 is the slope, so $10 per month times the number of months plus $120, which is our initial fee. So the 10 here represents the $10 per month, but because that's 10 over 1, we could simply leave it as 10x in our equation. Just be mindful that that's our rate of change. So that's our rate, and we know that as our slope as well. And here, we could represent it as an equation. So our problem, and we could represent it as a table showing the relationship also between x and y and as a graph. So if we make a table, be mindful that the x value is the number of months and the y value is the cost. So months, which is our x, and cost, which is our y. And so at 0 months, be mindful that the plan would charge $120 because that's the initial fee. So even before any months pass by, it would cost $120. After 1 month, it would be an additional $10, so it would cost $130. And then after 2 months, another additional $10, so $140. After 3 months, an additional $10, so $150, and so on. So here, our table is increasing by 10. Well, our y values are increasing by 10 because it costs $10 every month it increases by. Okay, so let's graph this. At 0 months, it costs $120. At 1 month, it costs $130, so somewhere over here. Then 2 months, $140, and so on. So I'm going to take a line and draw it through here. And so just be mindful that the graph we were given, it's increasing by $20 at a time. So in order to show the increase of 10, it would be half of a box. But if we were to pick 2 exact coordinates, like these two, we'll notice that the rise here is $20 every 2 months. So that's $10 per month because here it shows $20 every 2 months. So that's our slope. So $20 every 2 months is the same thing as $10 per month. And our y-intercept is here. And our y-intercept is at 0, 120, because at 0 months, the cost of this gym plan is $120, okay? And be mindful for slope if you wanted to pick any other 2 points, like here and here, let's say. Notice that these 2 boxes, these 2 units, represent $40 for 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 months. So that's the same thing as $10 per month. So here we have another example. Matilda already has 5 flowers and plans to plant 2 every 3 days. So here, if she already has 5 flowers, that's our y-intercept. So that's how much we start off with, our initial value. And then if she plans to plant 2 every 3 days, that's our slope, because that's our rate that we're increasing the flowers by. And so we could represent this as y equals, remember that our rate of change is 2 every 3 days, so 2 new flowers every 3 days times the number of days, x, plus 5, because we initially started off with 5. Okay? So be mindful that the 2/3 here represents 2 flowers every 3 days. And so if we made a table, x represents the number of days, y represents the number of flowers, and so we initially started off with 5 flowers. And so if we counted up by 1 day at a time, it would show that the flowers would increase by a fraction. So instead, we could increase it 3 days at a time. So after 3 days, there will be 2 additional flowers. So at 7, then after another 3 days, there will be another additional 2 flowers. So there will be 9 flowers, and so on. So after 9 days, there would be 2 more flowers, making it at a total of 11 flowers. So if we graph this here, at 0 days, we have 5 flowers because we initially started off with 5, and then we gain 2 more after 3 days. We gain 2 more after another 3 days. We gain 2 more after another 3 days. And notice here that I'm going up 2 because it's 2 flowers and then going over 3 days. Increase of 2 flowers every 3 days, increase of 2 flowers every 3 days, and so on. So I'm going to draw my line through that. And then, as I mentioned before, our slope here is the fact that we gain 2 flowers every 3 days. And then if we wanted to pick other 2 points, we would see an increase of 4 flowers every 6 days, but 2 over 3 is equivalent to 4 over 6. So we could really pick any 2 points to find our slope. And our y-intercept in this case is 5 because we initially started off with 5 flowers. And that's it.